This is problem number 3 from the H8-8 homework. And this is the third problem of the set where we are doing division of polynomials using both the area model and our synthetic division. So I already have my area model kind of set up here. We'll go ahead and start into it here. Let's put our divisor over here on the left side. And I didn't do it last time, but I'll do it in this problem. I'll go ahead and write out my dividend down here. Remember, that's an optional step. If you're somebody who likes to get done quickly and you don't like to do a lot of extra, then don't write it. You don't have to. Okay, so one thing I just want to point out here, as we're going through these two different methods, remember, this area model always works. We don't have to modify any of the expressions to be able to do this. That's why some students like this better, because it always works. It may take a little longer than the synthetic division, but it's always going to work without having to do any modifications. All right, so let's go ahead and throw our 6x to the third in here, which means this needs to be a 3x squared. Multiply it times the -1, you've got negative 3x squared down here. We need to have a total of negative 5x squared, so we're going to need a negative 2x squared up here. And now that means this is going to have to be a negative x, right? Because negative x times 2x is negative 2x squared. And then negative x times -1 is going to give us a positive x down here. Now we have a total of positive 5x's, which means up here we're going to need 4 more x's. So we're going to say 4x. And then 2x times positive 2 gives us 4x. And 2 times -1 gives us -2. And it looks like we are done, right? This term matches this, so there's no remainder. So our answer for this problem, 3x squared minus x plus 2. And now we'll go ahead and jump right on into our synthetic division. For this one here, now remember, we've been taking it here and we've been, factoring out the value of 2. I'll show you another way that you can do it here, right? If I just took it, if I know that I have to factor a 2 out of here, you can just take it and divide everything by 2 if you want to, right? You could do it that way, but you just have to make sure you divide everything by 2. When you do that, you should still end up with the same thing here. I'm going to leave my 2 factored out because it's still part of it, but we've got, 3x to the third minus 5/2 x squared plus 5/2, and then minus 1, and we're dividing that by 2 times the quantity of x minus 1/2. Now say you forgot to factor out the 2 on the top there. That just means when you were done, you'd have to go through and divide everything by 2. It can be done that way as well. But we'll just go ahead here and do it the way we've been doing it, just to make sure everybody's comfortable. So first thing here, right, we're going to draw in our little right angle, put in our equal bar here. We'll throw our root value in here. We got positive 1/2. Our coefficients are 3, negative 5/2, positive 5/2, and -1. And now when we go through it, I'll bring down my 3, multiply it by 1/2. I have 3 over 2. So negative 5/2 plus 3/2 is going to be a negative 2 over 2, which is really the same thing as just -1. -1 times 1/2 would be a negative 1/2. 5/2 plus a negative 1/2 is 4/2, which is 2. 2 times 1/2 is 1. And in this case here, we get no remainder, just like we knew we shouldn't have. And so we've got 3x squared minus x plus 2 is the quotient. All right, this is problem number 3 for worksheet H8-8. Hopefully we're understanding the synthetic division and we're still comfortable with doing it and the area models.